Hi, it's Jess from Nigezza Creates. Thank you for joining me today. So I'm here with another collaboration video for the Rach and Bella Crafts Christmas collaboration, a crafter's Christmas hop. That's what it is. I'll probably put it up there. Today I'm partnered with the wonderful Tracy Fox. We have discussed it. It is texture tags. Tracy has an amazing amount of videos on doing textured tags and lots of layering and everything. I'll link down below to a couple that I watched recently. I should say re-watched, because I think I've literally watched every video that Tracy's ever made. I sort of discussed with her what I was doing, and I think she's going to try and recreate this and then add her spin on it and kind of finish it off and do like the topper. I think I'm just going to do some tag bases, and then I might return with another video after watching hers and try and do her magic as well. So what I've done is I've picked some of my favourite pages from the kit, and I've printed them on different types of paper. I've done this sort of thing before. So this is, I love the way that you can see it at the back. This is great for printing documents on. This is draftsman's paper. I think it's draftsman's paper, you know, when they draw up plans for making houses. So I found it on Facebook Marketplace. Somebody's given her a massive roll of it. I cut them down to A4 size. So that is really, really thin paper. This is sugar paper. So I chose the pink one. I thought it would give it a kind of a Christmassy glow and go with it. So it's a bit like, those in the UK will know what sugar paper is. It's called sugar paper because it's the sort of paper they used to wrap sugar in. That's where it's nothing to do with, there's no sugar in this. Don't be eating it. So it's a sort of paper that we use in schools. It's cheap. I mean, I used to have it in massive, like A1 size. People used to get the kids to do group work on it and make big spider diagrams and stuff. Yeah, comes in different colours. It used to be our little scrapbooks when we were kids. It's a little bit like the straw paper that Roxy Creations use, but yeah, obviously in different colours. So that's that. It's quite thick, that one. Then I printed one of the background sheets on a encyclopedia page, an old vintage one. I thought that gives... I'm trying to create texture through different papers. Then I printed on parchment paper, so that's giving another different feel about it. This one's printed on music sheet, hence seeing the music there. Really like that one. This is a bit of tracing paper or vellum. This is actually quite thick tracing paper. It's, you know, it's not vellum, but I don't know what the difference is. They're pretty much the same. Probably going to emboss this. That will give us a wonderful different bit of texture. This is a bit of antique ledger. I've used the same sheet on this. I don't know if that was deliberate. Kind of done it upside down. Don't think it matters. But yeah, so I cut it down to sort of A4, where it's a little bit bigger than A4. As you can see, it's come off the end. But that's a really nice sheet. And then I had, let's put a sheet underneath so you can see. I then printed on acetate. So I used to be a teacher, and so I've got lots and lots of acetate slides. Obviously we moved from overhead projectors to interactive whiteboards. When we were clearing out one of the school buildings that I used to work in, we found oodles and oodles of overhead projector sheets. Some of them are printable, so I printed on this one, and it's actually got quite a rough edge, so that's a little bit of texture in itself, so that it could be inked. Now there's a bit of me that thinks I should have reversed this so that it was the smooth side on the outside and it'd be the right way around, but you know, don't matter. I'm not that bothered. I like the texture bit. So what I'm thinking of doing is adding a little bit of more texture to some of these. Going to do some dry embossing, some heat embossing, do some ripping, do some scrunching, add them. I'm going to use this as a tag base, I think. I like that. It's got a bit of texture on the back in the way that the tea pooled and that. I like doing that. That's kind of deliberate what I do. There's no splashes. I often splash afterwards, but I didn't. So this is tea, a very strong tea. That's why it's quite dark. So let's get adding texture. So there was this vellum. So I like a bit of dry embossing on this, so I'm going to get some embossing folders. Okay, so I've got my embossing folders. So I've got loads. So I've got a snowflake one there, it's very Christmassy. I've got a very large snowflake there, and then I've got some ones that just create texture. That's that's like a plastered wall with bits of brick in the background and a bit of plastering. This is worn typing. This is just a bit of texture, and that's a bit of like bark in a way. So yeah, that's what I thought I'd do, is run some of these through these embossing folders, and then we've got some different styles. So I'm going to rip this down a bit to go through the embossing folder. I don't need masses because right, I want to do this one with that nice sort of like tight worn, I think. Yeah, so I'll put you in there. So we'll take a bit off the bottom. So I'll just probably speed this bit up whilst I go around getting them ready, and then I'll run them through my embossing machine, and then I'll show you what they look like. Right, so they're all embossed, and I've put a little bit of cereal liner down because we're going to get a little bit messy now. I'm going to put some gloves on because I'm actually going away. So I don't really want to go away with stained hands. All right, I'm proving difficulty getting these on. There we go. Pull up my sleeves. Yeah, so I use different patterns with different, well, you saw me adding them to the embossing folders, didn't we? Some of them coming out, but no, so that's the tracing paper, the vellum. That's really cool. We're going to do things now to make that embossing stand out. Love this. That's like an old paper. There's the ledger. That's got the snowflake on. That's got little snowflakes. This one proved a bit difficult. That's that really thin one because it wasn't very thick paper, so I had to put lots of different layers on it to get that to emboss. This is the acetate, and then the book page there. So one really easy way of letting us see the embossing is just going over with a bit of distress ink, and then the ink goes on the bit that's sort of sticking up. This is quite a busy background, so it's maybe a bit harder to see. See it maybe there on the edges on that bit, but that is bringing out the embossing a bit better. I want to see this snowflake. A bit better. I might go over it with a different colour actually than the brown. Oh, I've got to touch something on my iPad for my mirroring, and I ain't gonna like my gloved hands. There we go. Yeah, maybe I'll go for a red. I have put my brushes in a different pot, and I can't actually see the pots because my desk, you know, unsurprisingly, is an almighty mess because I've been doing, it's my third collaboration video, and yeah, I haven't put away in between. No surprising there. Well, I was using the same papers, so I didn't want to put everything away because it was like quite close to hand. Oh, there's a red one. That'll do. So let's try this red. It's not a distress ink. You can do this, you know, with whatever ink you've got, really. So I'm just gonna, there. Showing up a bit better, I think. Don't know if that's coming off on camera, but it is here off camera. Can you see? I might put a bit of red on this. Adds a little bit to it. There we go. Right. Maybe I'll do a bit of red on this as well because it's got the red berries. And it's got red lines on the paper for the margins. Yeah, quite liking that. Gonna do other things to this. What are we gonna get? What are we gonna get on this? No, I'm gonna go with the brown for that. Actually, don't quite know what I'm going to do on the acetate. Excuse me, reaching. I'm going to put some other things on this. I've got some texture paste out and things. I quite like the brown on this because I think it is old paper, this embossing folder. I think that's what it was called. No, it wasn't. I think that was a different one. I can't remember. They're all, most of them was from Stampin' Up, and they're long retired. But I pick up embossing folders from time to time in charity shops as well. And it's coming up Black Friday, isn't it? So there'll be lots of deals. I'm seeing them already, and it's only November the 12th. So there we go. See them snowflakes coming through here. And then this one. This one I think is just mainly going to be a touchy-feely one. There. Right, so that's one way. Now the other way that I thought I'd do is add in some, I've got gesso, I've got some texture paste here in copper, and I've got the gilding wax here in gold, so which is quite Christmassy, I think. So I quite like the idea of a bit of gold on this. I am absolutely rubbish at adding this stuff. It always ends up being a little bit smudged, so just going to take a little tiny bit, just trying the corner first. So that is, oh yeah, that's not too bad. Shall we do some more? Why not? Getting a little bit, don't want to get too overconfident with it for it to then all go Pete Tong. But I'm liking that. Because I think these stems have a kind of a goldy feel to them. So I am liking the effect of that. That looks quite lush. Lush, as us would say in the West Country. It is girt lush, that. There we go. So yeah, liking that. I think these snowflakes should have a little bit of bling on them. Right, let me try this. I think I bought this last year for my birthday from Ed. Last year I did a bit of a spending spree. Ed wasn't capable of doing any shopping, even online, but he was like, just get what you want. So I did. What's happening here? So yeah, that's going over on there. Not terribly how I want it, but because it's going on the background as well as the foreground. Maybe try your finger, Jez. Yeah, finger tool. Yeah, making no difference. So we'll go back to this. So I might use a bit of a stencil with some of this embossing paste. I don't think, get me thinking, would it show up on the acetate? Don't know if it would dry on there or rub off. Don't know. Put a bit on and maybe see what happens. See if it dries on there. Don't know. All an experiment, isn't it? So let's get an embossing folder. Not an embossing folder. I meant a stencil. So let's try and see add in this textured paste through a stencil. Don't know what it's going to look like, but you know, at the end of the day, it's good to just experiment. If it don't work, you've learnt something. If it does, happy days. And if it doesn't work, what have you lost? Bit of paper, bit of ink, bit of time, but you've learnt a lesson, and that's good. It's good to learn what doesn't work. Right. Now then. Oh. I think that's all right. That is quite textured. It's got quite a relief on that. So, yeah, I think that was worth a go. These ones are quite clean. The first one's a little bit smushy, but yeah, I'm liking that. So I might do a snowflake on this. Just the one down there. Might take that little bit off there. There. Yeah. I'm wondering about maybe the odd swirl. So let's find a swirl. There's a swirl there. Ooh. Get this off. Let's just put let's do that. Might have gone under a bit there. Don't really care, because actually I quite like the look of maybe damaged bit of plaster relief. I've just had some of the coving in my house mended. It was damaged by some previous work done, so I've got somebody in to sort of try and restore it, and I'm quite liking it. Obviously I won't tell properly until it's been decorated, but it's looking good. And I'm like, I don't care if it's not perfect. It's a Victorian house. It's not gonna it's not gonna look perfect forever, is it? And let's face it, I'm doing it. It's not going to be perfect. And I'd get a machine to do it if I wanted it precise and really perfect. That's the thing about handmade stuff and art. It has your personality on it. your stamp. Like I said to Tracy, I'm sure you're going to do some sewing, because she like always adds sewing, whereas I don't always can be bothered to get my sewing machine out. I probably will go back and sew afterwards. Right, what have we got here? We've got a slight mess at times, but I don't mind. Don't mind that. We've got the relief bit sticking up, which is kind of what I wanted. So I'm thinking a bit of heat embossing as well now. These need to go and get cleaned. So I'm going to stick them somewhere where they can possibly do not a lot of damage, not a lot. Right, I was wondering about a bit of gesso on that, or heat embossing. That's probably what I want. So I've got, is this my Versamark? Yeah, so I've got some Versamark. Where is my embossing powders? Right, I've got this embossing powder. It's called Enchanted Gold. I think it's quite shimmery and nice for bit of snowflake. So I'm gonna just run this over this, and hopefully it just goes on. It might have gone on more than just what's sticking up, but we'll see. Now you can knock some of this off with a paintbrush where you don't want it. There. Just going to blow. It's going to go everywhere. I can see it all on my iPad now. So messy. It's all there. I'm not bothered. Truly not bothered. Right, let's get my heat gun. There it is. So I am really pleased with how that looks. Don't know if that is coming out there on camera, but that's quite lush really. I like it. Right, I'm going to put some on here. What I should do, yeah, bring that piece of paper in so we can knock it onto that. Right. This, I haven't used this embossing powder for years and years and years, and I did like it for a Christmassy effect. So let's see what we get on this. And that is it on this bit. I love that. Absolutely love it. So I might be making quite a few tags and things out of this. That's gorgeous. I'll be doing this again. Right, I haven't added gesso to anything. That was the other thing to see about. Might put it on this. Let's grab a finger that hasn't really got much on it. Put it in the lid. That's kind of knock a bit of that back. So I've got that. I am wanting to dry that because I want to put something on top of that. And I'm going to get a bit of Distress Oxide, I think. Right, so I bought these last year, Bundled Sage and Lumberjack Plaid. This is, so I had some green and red really, not even opened them. I bought them for myself for Ed's birthday, that's what I did. My birthday I got an Apple pencil. Yeah, I remember, it was like, you know, Ed was very close to the end on his birthday, and it was just a little joke, and I went, oh, I bought you a lovely birthday present. He said, oh yeah? I went, yeah, a load of craft supplies. So, yeah. There we go. Let's get this. It is my birthday tomorrow. I mean, it will have gone by the time you get this. Wasn't looking forward to it, as you can imagine. But I'm going away. Ed and I had a bucket list of places we wanted to travel to. And so I'm going to one of those for my birthday. And I'm thinking that might become a little tradition, is that I travel to places on our bucket lists to reclaim and make happier memories. Yeah, that was just thoughts. I should really get my box out, but I'm not. So, oh, it's almost the same colour as the ink behind it. Well, I never. That's not what I was expecting. Let's get this red on. Oh, what a splash. That's not what I wanted. Bring some of that off. Goodness me. I wanted a bit more like that, really. Right. There. Damped it down a bit. Right. Let's dry that, and then I'm going to add some water, I think. Right, that's water, I think. And let it react to the water. And I'm going to spray actually with a darker colour. It's too bright. Right, put some gathered twig. That's a bit better. Some more water. Right, I've smelt that as I sprayed it. Tint water, which is alcohol. So now let's actually do water. Because that gives a completely different effect. And I do like drops. Right, I'm going to leave all that a little bit to let it all dry properly before we do the next bit. So that's got a lot of texture on there. Right, this is all now dry. Well, it should be, because I left it 6 days ago. Said I'd be back in a bit. 6 days, and I've literally left it sort of as it was. So I've been away. So this is well and truly dried, and yeah, so now I'm back. Completely lost my train of thought as to what I was doing, but we'll pick it back up and we'll run with it. So I've got all these textures, and yeah, I want to use them. So I've got a bit of card here, which I thought would be nice for the base of a tag. I could make some sort of collage with these textures, and then that would create a nice sort of background that I would then cut up and make tags with. Maybe I'll do half a sheet and then it'd be a bit quicker. So I am just basically going to create another masterboard like I've done before. So I'm just putting glue stick all over the card. Whilst I do this, I do tell you all about my little trip to Prague that I did for my birthday. So I'm just randomly choosing where all this goes on. Everything kind of matches nicely because it's all from the same kit, so a bit like all the other masterboards I've done. The only difference is I've added colour, ink, embossing, all sorts to this, so that does give it a little bit of a different look. But I'm just loving the way all the textures are coming together. I'm not thinking too much about it, and just putting things down. I am making this in the wrong orientation. I realised that afterwards, but it doesn't really matter because actually everything is done in such a way that it could be, you know, upside down wrong the wrong way and inside out, and it would still look okay. So as before with all the other masterboards that I've made, I haven't put too much thought into it. And yeah, and I just tell you about my wonderful trip to Prague. Such a beautiful city. If you've never been and you're thinking about it, just go. It's just wonderful. It's very hilly though, I will warn you of that. I'm so glad that I am now so much fitter than I was 2 years ago, because I would have struggled. Lots of hills, lots of steps, but worth it. Absolutely worth it. I had a brilliant time. And yeah, my first birthday without Ed. And I wasn't too sad. I mean, I was sad, but you know, it could have been so much worse. Great distraction going and doing something that we had both wanted to do, and you know would have done together. And yeah, and it was so nice to do it with my son. So yeah, so putting them all down. I should have glue sticks. It's not the best, especially I think with it being embossed. So yeah, quite a lot of going over it in the end with glue. Maybe glue stick and gluing all the edges with the collal would have been the best way forward, which is what I've ended up kind of doing anyway. So I'm just gonna go over now with ink just to finish off to get the edges, to get the ink off, and then I'll give you some close-ups of how it looks. There we are. I took the photos. Let me just bring it up. Lots of texture going on there. So I've just realised I've kind of done it that way, and this was the way, but that's okay because I was thinking I was going to do my tags that way and not this way, wasn't I? Yeah, you were, Jez. But that's absolutely fine. Not a problemo. So I'm going to just cut this in half. I've done it like 7.5 inches tall, so that's quite a tall tag. I might chop it down, but we'll see. We'll see. So that is kind of what I'm doing. I'm going to do going to do a top like so. And then this has, now I'm not ready to do that. I'm going to do this one a slightly different shape. I might do this side as the top. I am going to chop a bit off the bottom because I think that is too long. So then they want to be rounded at the bottom. There we go. They look very cool, ready for a focal point. So now I'm just pulling out what I need to do the topper. I was going to stop the video at the base and then, as if I was like passing it over to Tracy for then Tracy to finish, but then we discussed it and she said, oh, just because I was going to split the video, and she said, oh no, put out what you've done, and it'll be fine. So that's what I'm doing. The video was very long, so yeah, I thought we'll do it sort of 4 times the speed, and then I'll do a voiceover. So I'm just fiddling with sort of deciding what to put. I really like the look of it with that ledger behind it. Here I'm kind of, I wanted to use that little bit of textured paste, and so I'm just pulling out that sort of poster thing to go as a topper. I mean, it's the same topper as on the other one, but they're just printed on different paper, so I thought that kind of would work. So I was thinking about putting that swirly bit behind, but it just didn't really fit on the page, so I try a bit of ripping down and to sort of see how that will look, a bit of sort of fussy ripping around where I've got the textured paste. I thought that might look good sort of underneath it. It's all sort of very sort of trial and error-y, and yeah, and then I think no, I don't like it, and so I pick out, I was thinking that bit of vellum, that will work. Just gives it enough pop, and that is my thoughts. So I am just going to sort of ink round everything, and I am going to channel my inner Tracy, and I'm going to do some sewing, and I said to her about, I said, you know, you sew everything and I can't, because it just seems such an effort to get my sewing machine out. There's always a mess in the way, and she has hers sort of set up so she can just go to her other desk and sew, which, you know, hashtag goals. Maybe I will get there eventually, but I don't. So that is how they're going to be. So I've laid them out there. I took photos to remind, and then that's them sewn. So there we are. I did 2 sort of rows there, except I ran out of thread. I've done zigzagging around bits, straight edges around bits, and then we're just going to stick them down. I thought that one with the pink topper could be a pocket because it's sewn onto that antique ledger. That was what I was thinking with that. But this one, it's vellum and that really thin sort of draftsman's paper. There's no way that could be a pocket. So that was just getting stuck down as is. I did think it a little bit of a shame that all that beautiful embossed antique ledger, basically you can't see any of it. I was going to stick it down without glitter glue even, but it's all clogged up because I haven't used it for 6 days. So there, that's just been glued round at the 3 sides, and then I'm going to put one of the other tags that I made out of my masterboard to go in the top there, Thought that would look good. I do dither. Gosh, do I dither about which tag to use. And then we just need a little sort of hole reinforcer. So I'm grabbing, trying to decide what paper to use. So I'm going for that green. So I do it 3/4 of an inch wide and 1.5 inches long. So when you fold it in half, you've got a 3/4 of an inch square. That's me just putting the charger into my phone there. Then I decide to give it a little bit more interest. So I'm looking there for the credit card that I got with a small corner cut off. Couldn't find it, and then I thought, oh, I can just put it in my punch, and that'll work. So just taking off the 4 corners of that square, and it gives it just that little bit of extra interest to the hole reinforcer there. And then inking them up, and then we'll stick it in place. And it's nice little square at the top of the tags, just to finish them off nicely. And then I'm going to do the same again on the other sheet, the other bit. So same sort of measurements, using a bit of the embossed antique ledger there. So it's 1.5 by 3/4 of an inch, and we're doing exactly the same, cutting them corners off. Struggles a little bit to get in because it's thicker paper. The antique ledger paper is quite thick, and then it's embossed as well, so I'm really struggling there to get it in, to get the corners off, but I do manage in the end. Quick bit of inking, and then we'll get it stuck down in place. And I just think they make a nice little extra bit of interest at the top of the tag there, deciding on which tag to put in. It is still a bit wet, so there on my crocodile I'm doing it to 3/8 of an inch, because that will be the hole directly in the middle of that square. That's what I've learnt. So now I'm just getting me what they call Jez eyelets, that's what they're called, and bunging them in. So that's another little bit of texture that you're adding there by adding a little bit of metal. I do think, oh, I'll put an eyelet in that, but the punch that I used to create that tag, the hole's too big for those eyelets, so it didn't actually work, but it doesn't matter. And then I'm getting some ribbon. That was what I was doing there, getting the ribbon that I want to go in the top. So there's nice little green ribbon there, which I thought went quite well with the green in the tag, but it's too nice and shiny. So a little bit of ink there to make it look a bit more edged. And then I'm going to pick out some ribbon that I want for the top of the tag, and I've got this beautiful ribbon here. That's Merry Merlot. It's in Stampin' Up colour. I loved Merry Merlot. I just thought it was such a spectacular name, because Merlot being wine and you get merry when you drink too much. I liked it, and it's got a bit of gold in it as well, so just perfect. I ain't got much of it left. I really liked it. So now I'm just looking for a bit of twine, because I like to have a bit of ribbon and then a bit of twine tied in a nice bow, to finish it off. It's a look I like. So just doing a quick bow there. The twine is quite a bubbly twine, so kind of it kind of stuck a bit as I was pulling the bow, but that's it. That one's done. That tag that I have put inside does need a little bit of a topper on it, but yeah, I ain't done that. We'd still be here forever. I've managed to sort of cut this video down from like an hour and a half to like 50 minutes, so don't quite know how I did that. So there we are. That is the tags finished. Really liking how they look. And this is my collaboration journal. So those are all the other things that I've made of my free videos that I've done for the collaboration, and I think they all look really good. So close-ups come in. There'll be links in the description to the kit, to Rach and Bella, to Tracy's videos, so do please go and check everybody else out. There is the calendar, that'll be linked down below, so you can go and find everybody that you might have missed. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now.